Veranda IAS, where your dream becomes reality.
Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of Daily Current Affair Analysis from Veranda IAS. Today, we are going to see some of the very important current affair topic from the date of 16th of May 2023 and map it with respect to the syllabus of UPSC. And let us move and see the topics of the day. The first topic will be on sexual harassment in the workplace, which is GS2, Governance, Dispute Redressal Mechanisms and Institutions on Mapping with Syllabus. Then the second topic will be Railways gets on track to overhaul signage system, which can be mapped to GS3, Economic Development Infrastructure Railways. The third topic is one-stop centers for zero waste to be launched in cities, which can be mapped to GS3, Environment Waste Management. The fourth topic or the final topic will be what are the gaps in the AePS transaction model, GS3, Science and Technology Awareness in the field of IT, Internal Security and Cyber Security. Without wasting much time, let us move forward to the first topic of the day. First topic is on sexual harassment in the workplace. So what is this context all about? 10 years after the sexual harassment of women. So just friends, just understand this act name, Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act of 2013, which we call it as a POSH. It came into force and the Supreme Court Bench of India has said there are serious lapses and uncertainty regarding its implementation. Who is saying this? Supreme Court Bench of India is saying that after 10 years of the release of the act. Then issuing directions to the union states and union territories to verify if all government bodies had formed internal complaint committees, and also Supreme Court is saying to they are directing to ensure that the composition of such panels is in strict adherence with the provisions of the act also. Now let us try to understand more about this POSH Act. As I already said, the POSH Act means the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act. It was passed 10 years before in 2013, which defined sexual harassment, and also it laid down the procedures for a complaint and also for an inquiry, and also what are the actions to be taken. What are the constituents? Let us see that. It defines sexual harassment. Also, it lays down the procedures for complaint and inquiry, and also the actions to be taken. It is basically broadened by the Vishaka guidelines, which were already in place before the Act came into existence. Now, let us see the history and the background of the Vishaka guidelines. So, the Vishaka guidelines were laid down by the Supreme Court in a judgment in 1997. So you should understand, friends, this was in a case filed by women's rights groups, one of which was Vishaka. And it was based on a PIL. What is PIL? That is a public interest litigation. So they had filed a public interest litigation over the alleged gang rape of Bhanwari Devi, a social worker from Rajasthan. In 1992, she had prevented the marriage of a 1-year-old girl, leading to an act of revenge. She became a victim. That is, she was led to alleged gang rape as an act of revenge. Now let us understand what are the highlights of the act as such. Moving forward with the definition. So the act defines sexual harassment at the workplace and creates a mechanism for the redressal of any such complaints which happened at the workplace. It also provides safeguards against false or malicious charges. That is also a very important point. It is not only a kind of a mechanism for redressal of complaints, but also provides safeguards women against false or malicious charges against being propelled. What are the obligations? So every employer under this act is required to constitute an internal complaints committee or ICC at each office or branch with 10 or more employees. So what is the act saying? If a company or a branch is having more than 10 employees, they have to constitute an internal complaints committee. And also, the district officer is required to constitute a local complaints committee at each district and if required at the block level also. So this is what the act maintains. Now let us understand about the members and the powers of this internal committee. So there will be a presiding officer. So who is going to be the presiding officer? A woman employer. That means a employee among the women. A woman employed at a senior level at the workplace will be the presiding officer. Then 2 other members will be there from amongst the employees, and also there will be the provision for an external member who is a very eminent member from who have worked before in any NGOs or associations, and they are committed to the cause of women, or who are very much personally familiar with the issues relating to sexual harassment as such. So this kind of an internal committee, they have the power similar to that of a civil court. Okay, so such kind of a statement or factual things are very, very important, because there are chances to get these kind of a statement wise questions in our UPSC prelims, and we might get it confused as such. Okay, so this internal complaint committee has power similar to that of a civil court in respect of summoning and also examining any person on oath and requiring the discovery and production of any documents. So this ICC may either forward the victim's complaint to the police, or it can start an inquiry that has to be completed within 90 days. Now let us define sexual harassment as per the Act. So sexual harassment includes any one or more of the following unwelcome acts or behavior which is committed directly or by implication, which includes physical contact and advances, a demand or request for sexual favors, sexually colored remarks, showing pornography, any other unwelcome physical, verbal or non-verbal conduct of sexual nature. And also, a domestic worker is protected under the Act and has a right to seek redressal from the complaint also. That is, what if a woman is working in an informal sector or in a kind of an organization with less than 10 employees? So there should be also a kind of redressal mechanism there. The local complaint committee will be taking the charge. That means when they are sexually harassed at their workplaces, even a domestic worker can go and complain in the local complaints committee. Moving further, let us understand what are the key issues and analysis or the challenges. One is definitely the feasibility issues. Many companies or organizing will be citing these feasibility issues in establishing an ICC at every branch or office with 10 or more employees. Though they have the powers of a civil court, but it does not require members with a legal background. We haven't seen any condition as such, right? So we can see that there are no provisions for any legal trading, nor there is no requisite for members with any legal background also. It provides for an action against the complainant in case of a false or malicious complaint. They could deter victims from filing complaints also. That means a victim can feel that any kind of a thing or a kind of what malicious complaint or a false complaint can have happened against me, so that would also deter the victim. Then it does not clearly demarcate the jurisdiction or composition and functions of these committees, that is local complaint committee or internal complaint committee. What are the jurisdictions or what are the kind of a key functions? It is not very well defined. Then, unlike other countries, it does not provide protection to men. So that is why I said to keep in mind about the name of the Act. That is why I am saying that here the name of the Act is being given as about what was the name of the Act which is being given? Yes, sexual harassment of women at workplace. It is clearly given that sexual harassment of women at workplace, Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act as such. Okay, yes. So that is why we can see that unlike in any other countries, this law or act in our country does not provide protection to men. So what is the way ahead to these challenges? So this act will definitely provide more avenues for even foreign citizens to come here for job prospects. So we can see that in India, foreigners coming and working in India are comparatively very less when it is compared to other countries like US, Europe or Gulf countries. So we can see that this kind of safety or safeguarding acts and legislations and laws for the foreign citizens, especially women, it will be a kind of incentivization for foreign citizens to come here for jobs. It will also put India in good light, but also its ardent implementation is very, very necessary. Each citizen should be seen equally in the eyes of law, and hence the law should be expanded to include even men. What if a man faces sexual exploitation at workplace? So that should be also included in the Act also. Okay, is it clear? Shall we proceed further? I hope so. Moving on to the next topic. Railways get on track to overhaul signage system. So Indian Railways are planning to overhaul the signage system. Overhaul means what? To refurbish or to change the signage system at railway stations for better traveling of passengers on the basis of fresh design principles. So the railways have chosen up to 1,725 stations under the Amrit Bharat station scheme. So even though these 4 points are there in the news, but what we are going to learn more about will be the scheme of the government, that is Amrit Bharat station scheme. So these 1,725 stations which is located under the Amrit Bharat scheme will be in major cities and places of tourist and pilgrimage importance. Definitely it will aid in a more comfortable travel, or it will also inculcate in more tourism projects as well. Okay, now let us understand more about Amrit Bharat station scheme. What is the vision of this scheme? So this scheme envisages development of stations on a continuous basis with a long-term vision. That means it is not like happening over one time, but it is happening on different development stages in different stations. Now let us see what are the key features. One is provisions for rooftop plazas, then longer platforms, ballastless tracks, and also 5G internet connectivity. Not only this, the scheme also aims at preparation of master plans for the railway stations and implementation of this master plan to enhance the facilities and including and beyond the minimum essential amenities. We do have some kind of minimal amenities, but apart from, or we are trying to go beyond the minimal amenities and thus foster tourism and pilgrimage site, and thus bring more people into tourism activities and thus foster income for the Indian Railways. Okay. Moving on to the next topic. One-stop centers for zero waste to be launched in cities. So, which ministry is launching this? The Union Ministry for Housing and Urban Affairs. They have launched a new campaign. What is the name of this campaign? Meri Life Mera Swachh Shahar campaign. So, this campaign focuses on waste management, and also it promotes the principles of reduce, reuse, and recycle, that triple R. So, this scheme also aims to create awareness, and also it will definitely encourage individuals to adopt sustainably daily habits for an environmental protection. So this campaign, it actually strengthens citizens' commitment to reducing, reusing, and recycling under Swachh Bharat Mission Urban 2.0. So we can see that even though all these kind of things are there in the news, how many of them are practically applying them? So such kind of practical applications are being focused through the new campaigns by the ministry. It aligns with Mission Life's objective of adopting sustainable daily habits for environmental conservation. Now let us understand what is this Mission Life given in the news. That is, lifestyle for the environment is called as Mission Life. So here, this is introduced by India during the 26th UN Climate Change Conference of Parties in Glasgow in 2021, that is COP 26 May. So it aims to promote an environmentally conscious lifestyle which emphasizes mindful and deliberate utilization rather than mindless and wasteful consumption. We always say, or we can always see, right? For example, when we go for food, so we can see people are unnecessarily taking a lot of foods and they are simply wasting it. I'm just saying as common example. Similarly, in the utilization of all the resources which we can see in and around us, the simple waste like a wasteful consumption can be seen a lot. So such kind of like things can be avoided by deliberate utilization and mindfulness. So to replace the prevailing use and dispose economy, rather we should bring in a circular economy by giving more emphasis for recycling and deliberate consumption. It plans to create a global network of individuals known as P3. What is P3? Pro Planet People. That is people who are mindful and have some characters of deliberate utilization of resources rather than wasting it. So these peoples will be committed to adopting and promoting environmentally friendly lifestyles. So that was called as Mission Lifestyle. So our new program released by Union Ministry for Housing and Urban Affairs, Meri Life Meri Swachh Shahar, is in align with this Mission Life that we discussed right now. Moving on to the next topic. What are the gaps in the AePS transaction model? So many incidents have been reported in different parts of the country regarding bank accounts that were drained using Aadhaar linked fingerprint without needing a two-factor authentication. That means if there is Aadhaar linked fingerprint, if we are giving there is no need for OTP. So by using some kind of a cyber attack or some kind of a malified methodology, many incidents of bank accounts getting drained can be seen. So what are the gaps in AePS transaction model? So now, before proceeding further or understanding about the context of the issue, let us try to understand what is this AePS. So friends, the Aadhaar enabled payment system is a bank-led model which allows online financial transactions. How it will be happening? At point of sale devices and micro ATMs of any bank using Aadhaar authentication. So this model removes the need for OTPs, bank accounts, and also other financial and also other financial details also. That is, we don't need any OTPs, bank account details, nothing. We don't have to give anything. We just have to give our biometrics. So this allows fund transfer using only the bank name, Aadhaar number, and fingerprint captured during Aadhaar enrollment. I hope you guys remember when we went for Aadhaar enrollment, we have given our thumb impressions and everything, right? So based on the bank name, Aadhaar number, and the biometrics, they are we can use the fund transfer. So this kind of AePS, Aadhaar enabled payment system, is getting malified or being attacked by different peoples or menaces in the society, and that is why such kind of issues are happening. According to the National Payment Corporation of India, such kind of system was being modeled, and that was called as the Aadhaar enabled payment system. That is without any kind of need of any OTPs or bank accounts as such. So, is AePS enabled by default? This is a very, very important question. So, such kind of an Aadhaar enabled payment system, is it getting enabled by default or are we enabling it? So, the Unique Identification Authority of India, UIDI, or the NPCI mentions clearly whether AePS is enabled by default. No one is mentioning about that. Whereas in a website called as Cashless India, which is managed by Ministry of Environment and Technology, they says that service does not require any activation, with the only requirement being the user's bank account should be linked with their Aadhaar number. That is what is the website called as Cashless India saying. They are saying that if you are just having your Aadhaar number linked with mobile number, that's enough. You can have it or you can go for the Aadhaar enabled payments system as such for fund transfer. That is, it is a kind of a default enablement, but there is no official confirmation given by UIDI or NPCI. So users who wish to receive any benefit or subsidy under schemes notified under section of Aadhaar Act have to mandatorily submit the Aadhaar number to the banking service provider according to the UIDI. That is also there. We are always giving this mandate from the bank people also. That means you have to link your Aadhaar number and the bank account, then only you will be getting all the kind of subsidy schemes and all these allowances or anything like that. Okay, so it is very mandatory kind of a thing from the section 7 of the Aadhaar Act. So we should definitely understand how the biometric information is linked. So it is concerned with the data security of our country. That means all the important or crucial biometrics of our population of India is there with respect to UIDI. So this UIDI has denied any breach of data, saying that nothing have been leaked, and they said that Aadhaar data including biometric information is fully safe and secure. But we can see that UIDI's database is only source from where data can be leaked. So Aadhaar numbers are readily available in form of photocopies, soft copies. Criminals are using even Aadhaar enabled payment system to breach user information. Many scammers we have seen in the past, they made use of silicon to trick devices into initiating transactions. So which we can even see in films also. So such kind of tricks these scammers and these cheaters are also using to breach information and also to drain money out of the bank. So how to secure our Aadhaar biometric information? So this is the biggest question. So as a way forward for this challenge, the UIDA has implemented a new two-factor authentication mechanism using a machine learning based security system combining finger minute and also finger image capture to check the liveliness of a fingerprint. That means we can either lock our biometrics, that if I have given my biometrics to UIDI, I can use it whenever it is necessary. If I am not using it, I can lock it so that no one else cannot use it. So users need to ensure that they log their Aadhaar information by visiting the UIDA website or using the mobile app. So what is the use? This will ensure that their biometric information, even if it is being breached, it cannot be used to initiate financial transaction because we have logged it. So someone cannot breach into the system and take the fingerprints and they can use it for any AePS system as such. So it can be unlocked at certain cases, that is like property registration, passport renewals and all these kind of things, we need our fingerprints. So at those point of time, you can unlock the system, and also whenever we need a biometric authentication like this, you can unlock the system and again you can lock it. So such kind of a two-factor authentication mechanism has been implemented by UIDAI, that is called as locking their Aadhaar information, so that any kind of a such challenges is not happening through AePS system. Moving on to the question of the day. Let us see the question. Consider the following statement regarding the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act of 2013, also known as POSH Act. Moving on to the first statement. The POSH Act applies to all workplaces in India, including both the organized and unorganized sectors. Statement 2. The POSH Act requires all organizations with 10 or more employees to establish an internal complaints committee to address the complaints of sexual harassment. Statement 3. Under the POSH Act, an employer found guilty of non-compliance may face penalties, including fines and cancellation of their business license. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? Option A, only statement 1. Option B, only statement 2 and statement 3. Option C, only statement 1 and statement 3. Option D, statement 1 to statement 2 and statement 3. So here the question is being asked to understand which is or to note which is the statements which are correct. So here, you friends, as we discussed, three statements are correct. Statement 1, 2 and 3 are correct because it is being applied to our workplaces. If any workplaces more than 10 members are there, POSH is there. If any employer is not following any or constituting any committee with respect as per the POSH Act, they will have to pay penalties also. Okay, so that was for the question of the day. So I hope today's topic everyone liked it and found it really informative. So please give back your complaints or any suggestions or any feedbacks so that we'll be able to redress it. So unless and until we meet next time, this is Prince J signing off. Thank you so much.